Hey everyone, so in this section we're talking about potential career paths for those of you who are majoring in accounting or for those of you who are thinking about majoring in accounting in the future. Now, of course, we can't talk about all of the different routes that accounting majors will take upon graduation. However, we will talk about a few of the different paths that many people with accounting degrees typically do gravitate towards. Now, of course, we are also going to only focus on the specific positions within the accounting realm for those of you who might be interested in staying within the field upon graduation. Now, upon graduation, there's a variety of different positions in both the public and private sector that candidates typically gravitate towards. This could be an entry-level bookkeeping position. This could also be a finance internship within both the public and private sector. One of the most popular routes that people definitely do consider is going into consulting. And when we say consulting, this can encapsulate a variety of different things. You can think of big bulge bracket consulting firms, typically referred to as the Big Four, in addition to thinking about boutique consulting firms as well. Now, one of the benefits of joining a consulting firm upon graduation is the fact that many of them do have in-house training programs, which is a great opportunity for you to apply a lot of the theoretical knowledge that you've been able to accumulate during your undergraduate experience. There are some differences in what you can expect in your experience depending on whether or not you want to gravitate towards a big consulting firm as compared to a boutique firm. The benefit of a big consulting firm is the fact that in a lot of cases they have more robust training programs and they might have a variety of different practice areas that you might be interested in specializing in the future. However, a smaller consulting firm might be beneficial for you to gain some more hands-on experience and more interaction with some senior people within the actual firm as well. Also, if you are very sure of what area in accounting you actually want to practice in, this might be an opportunity for you to get into a boutique consulting firm very early on so you're able to gain as much experience and exposure to that field as early as possible. Now, typically during this time, candidates are also studying for their CPA designation. Of course, as many of you already know, this is typically seen as the gold standard within accounting as well. It's a great opportunity for you to open up some additional doors for you in the future, but also to add some additional credibility to your academic credentials as well. Now, once you have a little bit of experience under your belt and perhaps you've already been able to attain your CPA designation, you might actually think about specializing in the specific area of accounting that you happen to be interested in. At this point, you might think about whether you want to work in mergers and acquisitions, whether you want to go into audit, tax, whether you want to stay within consulting, or maybe you want to make a pivot into industry and work in FP&A, or maybe even work in investment banking, depending on what your background happens to be. Some other opportunities might come with some specialization as well. So perhaps you're interested in forensic accounting and you get additional coursework or designations that will help you be more competitive for this particular position. Also, maybe you have an IT background or an interest in IT and you want to combine that with your background in accounting and work in some compliance roles at various organizations. Perhaps you have a finance background or an interest in finance and you want to combine your experience with your CPA designation to perhaps even get a CFA designation and go into things like investment banking or equity research or even investor relations within organizations also. Some people might also be interested in taking accounting positions within organizations, also being an accounting manager or just working on things like valuation, either for a firm, a consulting firm, or within an organization that they happen to be working for. You might also look at positions in commercial banks as a credit analyst, or maybe you want to go into specialization even further. Maybe you're thinking about additional education through a master's degree in accounting, or maybe you want to specialize in something like tax law and go into law school and combine your background in accounting to become a tax attorney. Now, of course, these are only a few examples of things that you can think about in the future. There's a variety of different roles that have overlap with accounting and that will be able to leverage your experience and your interest in the accounting field as well. These are some examples of some positions that you might want to start your research off with so that you're able to determine what specific area within the accounting field you happen to be the most interested in. Now, it's really important for you to be very mindful of the overlap that exists between accounting and the specific area of accounting that you happen to be really interested in. And so what I mean by this is there's a lot of positions within finance that are really catered towards people who might come from a variety of different backgrounds, of which accounting might be one of them. Based on your specific background and your interests, you might find that accumulating a lot of the finance related knowledge might come a lot easier and a lot quicker to you than someone who comes from an unrelated background. So based off of your education, you might be able to accumulate a lot of the knowledge necessary to do well on the CFA examination, which might open up a variety of different opportunities that you might not have already thought about. An example might be within some investment banks or some commercial banks, or even going into things like wealth management, investment management, or investment advisory, or also just portfolio analysis or portfolio management as well. Those are a few of the different examples that you might want to look at. However, there are a variety of other ones that you might want to look at that are specifically going to be catered to what your interests are in that field. Now, one of the things to keep in mind about this is the fact that continuous education should be a very important part of your personal development. Whether this is taking additional coursework to stay up to date with the most recent changes within accounting, or taking additional coursework to open yourself up to opportunities outside of your core competencies. One of the great things about accounting is the fact that if you're not able to carve out a specific niche that you happen to be really interested in, you are able to divert outside of the traditional employment regime and also just hang up your diploma on the wall and just be an accountant based off of the clients that you're able to obtain on your own. Now, a lot of this is going to depend specifically on what makes you different from a lot of the other accountants that might already exist within the marketplace. Whether this is having specific experience or specific knowledge of a particular area of accounting, or if it happens to be a certain set of skills that you're able to obtain that other accountants aren't able to offer. A lot of this is going to depend specifically on your situation, so it's really important for you to, as early as possible, determine what area in accounting you actually want to specialize in and get as competent in that area of accounting as possible. Now, one of the things I love about accounting is the fact that it's probably one of the most versatile of all of the business majors. I love the fact that accounting teaches you a very specific set of skills that can be applicable to a variety of different positions in both the public and private sector. Now, the great news is for those of you who don't come from an accounting background and potentially you didn't major in accounting, there might be some opportunities for you to still pursue a career in accounting. What I suggest you do is look at the CPA regulations for the state that you happen to live in or the state you want to work in, and to determine whether or not you actually are required to have an accounting degree in order to pursue the CPA designation. In a lot of cases, there's going to be a set number of courses in very specific areas of accounting that you're going to have to take in order to be able to sit for the CPA designation. But whether or not you actually have to have formally majored in accounting, it might actually differ depending on where it is that you live. So definitely do look into this, as I do think it can be helpful for those of you who want to get into the accounting field without a specific accounting major. So I hope this acted as a great starting point for some of your future research as well. I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, questions, and concerns. Are you an accounting major? Are you thinking about majoring in accounting? I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section below. As always, thank you so much again for listening. Please be sure to leave some suggestions for future segments in the comment section below, and make sure to like and subscribe if you appreciated this segment. As always, thank you so much again, and we'll see you in the next one.